Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Carly, looking at your headline there, you got some youngsters doing the curling.
Yeah.
Did you ever curl when you were a kid?
You know what? I did, and I'm almost as good as Aaron Strack. We'll see in the story coming up tonight. I'm almost as good as he is.
We used to do it in phys ed, just, sort of one little segment of our phys ed every year, and it's a lot of fun, actually. I never got into it really, but it's a lot of fun.
And it's nice to see the younger kids getting into it. When I talked to Val Sweeting at the provincials a few weeks ago, that's what she said. There's going to be a changing of the guard. So now you've got these younger kids getting into the game, learning what it's about, and realizing, hey, you know what? It's a lot of fun. Give it a try. Yeah.
Well, it's got the success of our national teams. I mean, on the global stage, like we're going to talk about later in the sportscast.
We will check in.
It definitely plays into it. Any sport that gets really popular, the kids like to pick it up.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Nice to have heroes to look up to.
Correct.
All right, Gerard, so what are we going to be seeing in the weather picture for the next couple of days?
Well, for the next couple of days, at least for the next 24 hours, we've got some more precipitation to look forward to. Wintry conditions stretching across the prairies. We've got some excitement going on in southern Ontario to look at as well. But our region, we still will remain hopeful, even though we'll deal with what it is.
Yes.
So let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at it right about now. The wind is what is kicking things up. The wind chill is back in the double digits, east-southeast at about 20-odd kilometers an hour, and the humidity at 86%. -3 is actually today's high temperature, and it's been a mix of overcast conditions and some of the light snow coming on down. Looking across to the Lakeland region, it had eased off for just a bit, but it started back again. Some more of that light snow coming down. So too in the Battlefords, and those are the temperatures there, the highs for today. We'll talk a bit about it some more. Jacob, meantime, it's back to you.
We begin tonight with an update on a story we brought you yesterday. At approximately 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, St. Paul RCMP responded to a two-vehicle crash at the intersection of 53rd Avenue and 44th Street. A van carrying two special needs persons hit a semi-trailer carrying a vac trailer. The occupants of the vac truck were not injured in the crash. However, the jaws of life were used to extract the driver of the van. The passengers in the van were taken to St. Paul Hospital, and the driver was flown by Stars Air Ambulance to Edmonton. There are no reports on the injuries to the driver of the van, and RCMP are still investigating the collision. The crash between an SUV and a service truck happened 5 kilometers north of Lloydminster on Highway 17, and slippery road conditions were thought to have been the cause. Occupants of both vehicles received only minor injuries. The Lloydminster Rescue Squad were on scene, but remain uncertain as to who was at fault.
The truck had lost control and was T-boned by another SUV. So we closed down the highway for our safety and everything till we could get an ambulance out there and tend to the one person that was in the SUV.
There was a fair bit of damage to the SUV as it had to be towed after the collision last night, but the people in the service truck were able to drive their vehicle away. The new snowfall has prompted a warning to those in the border city to be careful on the roads and also to give space for the rescue squad to do their work.
The road conditions yesterday and today are extremely icy and at times treacherous. Depending on the curves, you have to slow down, adjust your speed accordingly for the roadways, and especially around us emergency personnel while we're out there, we'd really appreciate if everyone slowed down.
And as we previously reported, officials with Buffalo Trail Public School Division have decided to close Tulliby Lake School after this semester. School board officials say it was a difficult decision, but ultimately the quality of learning was not up to par due to low enrollment. Parents in Tulliby Lake are disappointed and say their kids will now have to take long bus rides in order to get to school in Marwayne. The decision to close is final, but board members remain open to the idea of reopening again if it looks like enrollment could be up.
As things look right now, yes, it will be a permanent closure. However, if the situation changes and there's a large influx of young people in that community and new families and more students, that's something that can be investigated at a later date.
And be sure to tune in to Around the Region tomorrow night for a full interview with Darcy Edelston. Representatives from 9 agencies made the first bi-provincial violence and threat risk community assessment protocol official in the border city today. The protocol represents the efforts of both school divisions and both provinces to make school environments safer. Kathy Lee has the details on what the next steps will be.
Colleagues, friends working together in the best interests.
Lloydminster's 2 school divisions can now add their name to an existing list of other school divisions in Alberta with threat assessment protocols in place.
All of our partners that we have spoken to are all in agreement, and today will be the signing of some of the partners that are able to be in attendance today.
Through training with a certified expert in traumatic stress, officials in the schools and partnered agencies can address a child's violent behavior more effectively.
with the information, you have a better informed decision. There are instances where a student may manifest really high-risk behavior, and where traditionally we might send the student home. By communicating with other agencies, we may find, in fact, that the worst place for that student may be at home.
By creating a community protocol, Diachuk and other supporters say it represents all partners as one voice for the city.
Our commitment to, number one, making sure that we are serious about addressing the risks and risk behaviors, if you like, that students bring to school with them. And secondarily, we also are committed to making sure that it is a safe environment for students.
The students in our community are our future, for sure. So anything that we can do to support and help educate and protect our children is important to the city, for sure.
With the nature of Lloydminster's protocol having to fulfill 2 provinces, the last piece of the puzzle is to incorporate those on the east side of the border.
Saskatchewan is developing a similar protocol, so we will work towards weaving that into our protocol as well, so that both provinces are in agreement with what we have.
Due to weather conditions, not all partners on board with the protocol were available today for the signing. However, each party has expressed their support, and the protocol will go forward from today with annual updates to follow. Kathy Lee, Newcap News.
It's been lights, camera action for the past 3 weeks in Provost as the town has been the set and the people, the background players in a Hollywood movie. We'll have that story and more after the break.